Hello again, Old Timer here with another video for Final Fantasy XIV Online, and tonight we're taking on a new dungeon. We will be looking at Cutter's Cry, and this is a relatively new dungeon to me. I ran it once last night and had a couple of issues, but I think I figured out what I was doing wrong, and we're going to try it again tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and get queued up for that, and we'll see how long it takes. I'll be back as soon as I get invited to the dungeon. All right, don't go away. All right, we've gotten our invitation. We're going into Cutter's Cry, and yeah, I'm going in as a summoner, so I'll be doing DPS. Woot woot. Hopefully. Gonna wait for the other DPS to join. Come on now, come on. You know you want to. This is what you've been waiting for. Click the button. Come on. It's been 16 minutes, I believe, was the wait time for that. Not horrible. I mean, it's not a game breaker. Just, you know, let's go find something else to do for a while. Yeah, 16 minutes. Oh, good. Here we go again. Let's try it this time. Luckily, it bumps you right up to the top of the list, I guess. Hey, we're in. All right. Okay, come on now. What the heck happened? All right. I clicked a button and it created a separate chat over here. Let me see if I can move it back over. What the heck? That's all right. It's a bit of a mess right now, but I'll get that figured out. Click at X, there we go. All right. Now, just got to avoid the exploding sand, and we should be good. Looks like Laurel is standing in it. Maybe not. All right. Shifting sands. This took a while for me to get used to. This is the second time I've run this dungeon, but to just kind of dive headlong into quicksand, just have visions of rodents of unusual size in the fire swamp. And if you got that reference, congratulations, you are definitely, you've led a good life. Well, 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 look at that. That puts me at 43, I believe. Not bad. One level closer to being able to do the next dungeon, I believe. What the heck's going on here? Oh, I thought we were done. serves me right. Okay, so Jela Miera is our tank, and kind of give us a heads up at the beginning there that this was her first time tanking, really. Just got into it. So probably her first time on tanking this dungeon, but so far so good. So, in running this dungeon last night, it ended up being a bit longer of a run than some of the previous dungeons I've been through. Not that that's a bad thing, but it does kind of show that things are going to ramp up a little bit. This dungeon includes some mechanics that are a lot more advanced than pretty much all of the other prior dungeons. Not Titan and not Ifrit. Those had their own issues, their own mechanics that were challenging in different ways. But this fight in particular, not this one, but the boss fight against the Chimera certainly is more mechanic heavy, and making sure that you're paying attention to what's happening and who's got aggro and where you're supposed to stand. And that was the big one. Are you standing in the right spot? Making sure that you're paying attention to the the message that you're getting back. But we'll talk about that once we get to the Chimera. That's still a ways off. We have I have my carbuncle? I don't have my... Oh, yeah, there it is. There we go. That's where we're on. But, yeah, there's actually a pretty tough fight before that. And is this the fight? No. The one after this is the one that, the next mini-boss, where the challenge really does become, I don't know, if you're not paying attention, you're going to be in a lot of trouble in that fight, making sure you know where you're standing and if you've got aggro or not during a specific moment. But we'll talk about that. Spoiler alert. Now this one, you have to pay special attention to the ads. There we go. The Marshal has got to be our next main target. Because he will, or she will, it will heal the princess. And you don't want that to happen. You've just spent this whole fight trying to burn her down, and then all of a sudden in comes the Myrmidon and just heals her back to full. No, not bad. We got a pretty good group here. They do some all right damage. Take a look at the loot here real fast. Good. Both pieces are new to me. Now, for the first 5 or 6 dungeons, I went in as a healer, and primarily to make sure that I was able to get in quickly. Now that I've got a better sense of the patience I need to have, and it's not a huge deal, but I'm willing to wait around a little bit so I can go in as a DPS. This gives me a chance to be a little bit distant. I like to stand back when I fight. Plus, this also gives me the chance to focus more on just doing damage without having to pay too close attention to who needs heals and who's got aggro. I can, talk to you a little bit more. So I think we have a couple of rooms like this where it's just a matter of getting to the next quicksand pit. And I need to switch out my pet for the boss fight. I forgot to do that for the last one. But Carbuncle's good for these group fights with more than one target. But for the worm and for the chimera, yeah, I'll switch over. So in my stream, I'll leave a link to my Twitch channel, but I have been working on my MSQ, and that's where I really experience the story, where you get a chance to see. If you're at all interested in seeing me react to the events, I'm at level 42, not 43. You know what's been happening. So if you're at all interested in that, I do have a schedule. I do stream my MSQs 3 nights a week. And yeah, I'd love to have you come hang out. Make fun of the old man for making all kinds of stupid mistakes. I also, I'm an actor, so I like to give voice to the characters. And yeah, this last time, for the first time really, I tried to do the, okay, who's got aggro? There we go. I tried to do a French accent, and it was pretty bad. It was fun, but it was pretty bad. I should probably apologize ahead of time for all of the French people I will offend with my horrible French accent. I think I learned my French accent by watching Monty Python. Of course I am French. Anyway. Definitely a fun experience, if that's something at all interesting to you. But again, I'll put that the link to that in my information box, the details, as well as to the links to all of my other videos. I'm coming up on 17 or 18 videos now for Final Fantasy. 31 days ago, I was not playing this game. I was still playing Valheim. So I'm very happy to be here. I'm happy to get a chance to work with so many of you. You've given me such great feedback in the comment section. Some of you are so knowledgeable and are incredibly free with your knowledge, and I really appreciate that. And I try to implement that every time, so that every time I put out a new video, you'll see that, oh, he fixed that. That's good, because that was annoying, right? Speaking of fixing, we got to change to the carbuncle. That was a comment that I received. I'm not very good at my individual classes yet, because I haven't really been focusing on getting good, right? I've just been doing the story, experiencing as much of it as possible. But your comments have really led me to have a different and better understanding of the mechanics of the game, as well as the story. It's been so nice. And everyone here has been so cool, honestly. I've had one rude comment, and it was probably from somebody from World of Warcraft. They didn't like my breakup letter. But everything else has just been so supportive and welcoming, and that's the big one. I never really felt I had that kind of acceptance in World of Warcraft. I always felt like, oh, well, why don't you have this gear score? How come you're only this level? What do you mean you've never done this dungeon? And it was intimidating, There's a reason why a lot of people don't like to take on specific tasks in dungeons. And if they're coming from World of Warcraft, it's because we've been judged, and harshly. And it's intimidating. And honestly, coming over to this game, I was intimidated. I was worried about coming up against, not really against, but working with people who've been playing this game for the better part of 11 years now. Are they, during that 11 years, have they just developed this elitist attitude? And that was a concern for me. And it's completely ill-founded. I have not found that to be a problem at all. Everyone's just been over the top welcoming and supportive and informative, and I appreciate that. So having said that, now's your chance to say, hey, dummy, why are you doing this? Why don't you do it this way? God, you suck. Go back to WoW. Yeah. After the events of the last week or so, WoW is not going to be happening. In fact, I don't think I'll be doing anything through Blizzard. Oh boy, we're missing. Okay, good. All right, let me go back to my demon pit. Here we go. All right, we got to pay attention to the color of his eyes. When I say his, I mean there. It's a chimera. It's a three-headed beast. And, yeah. One of the first books I ever read was one called A Spell for Chameleon by Piers Anthony. And it had a chimera on the cover. And I remember just how entranced I was with that. And it was that cover that drew me into reading that book. I wasn't much of a reader until 12 or 13 years old. And from that point forward, it was a slippery slope. I just read, and especially all of those books, non-stop. I read all of the Xanth books, and there are, I don't know, 30 some odd books. And that led from that point to Stephen King. And oh good, I'm going to get away from everyone. Actually going to get away from that little glowing orb. It still hit me. Oh, the eyes were glowing, that's why. And speaking of Stephen King, it is amazing how many times that man has retired. I'm glad he's lied every time, but it's kind of funny. But yeah, Stephen King's where Piers Anthony kind of introduced me to the joy of reading. Stephen King made me a student, masterful at his craft, and thoroughly enjoyed it. And we won. Hallelujah, right? Let's see how we're doing. You know what? Major Pest, you did an excellent job. Let's see how we're doing for loot. Greed and greed. All right, looks like we got at least one item there. 2, the Loyalists' Bliad and the Crier's Bouge. I remember. Huh. Okay. So even though I've got a channel, Cult Party is still going to my free company. So I got to figure that out. Obviously, my free company is going, what's he talking about? Maybe. Where'd it go? Huh. I have no idea where my little message went. It just disappeared. But, you know, why not? That's how Old Timer rolls. He presses buttons, magic happens, and things disappear. All right, folks. So that was a fun run, and I hope you enjoyed Cutter's Cry. I think we're going to run that a couple more times just to get better at it. But I want to thank you for taking the time to hang out with me. This was fun. If you like this video, go ahead and like and subscribe and follow, and you know, write letters. You know, send messages. Don't do Facebook. That's way too advanced. I'm more of a, you know, what was the old one? Oh shoot, where you write someone. I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, I'm going to edit that part out anyway. Thank you all. This was a good run. I'll talk to you next time. This is Old Timer signing off.